The bullets and the punches and the riots have been flowing in only one direction for too long.
I've been trying to tell you guys this whole time how corrupt all of these things were, and here we are.
It is not our responsibility to fix something they spent years intentionally trying to destroy. Unity can only happen in a country when you have a people who agree on what the outcome should be. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Wow, we got Claire in the audience. Did you see that? Claire just joined the chat.
Claire.
What's up, Claire? How's it going?
What's up, you guys?
Did
you guys have a good weekend?
Yeah, I did. It was a crazy weekend, though. There was just crazy stuff popping off all over the place.
Well, I have no idea because I logged off of social media and everything for the entire day Sunday. Look what I did. I made this.
Is that cross stitch?
No, it's like embroidery. I thought I was ordering a needlepoint beginner kit for me and my daughter, and it was embroidery. And I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody tortures themselves with this, but I did it with her because I did. And look what she made. Look.
There you go.
So that's what I did.
Non's like trying to figure out how he could possibly sit still long enough to do something.
No,
like that.
you're getting influenced by Harmeet Dillon. That's fine. I think it's cool. Yeah, she's over there knitting U.S. hats and stuff like. It's all the same, isn't it? Needlepoint, knit, cross stitch. It's all the same shit.
It's definitely not. But
so I'm getting ready to build a
hand
fence.
embroidery
So I'm busy.
is why we have machines for embroidery, because that's bullshit.
That's awesome. Amazing Torah asked the question: how did Patriot Princess do dancing? We don't know yet. We weren't allowed in the room when she was trying out, but I understand that SK will know this because this is her realm of expertise. So those of you guys that don't know, SK used to be a ballerina also. So not only is she like a research genius and a legal eagle and this incredible resource on this platform, but she also used to be a ballerina and she played soccer and did all kinds of other stuff. But so for the first time, she's never had done this before. So my daughter just got her point shoes. And up until now, all the point that she's been doing, if as you guys don't know, that's where they stand on their toes, because you can't do that until your legs mature enough to be able to support the weight and the bone structure and all that stuff. So up until now, all of her point work has been done at the bar. So when she gets in the room, the people that were doing the tryouts were like, we want you to do point and center, whatever the heck that means. Apparently that means out in the middle in front of everybody without a bar. And she was like, it hurt, but I did it. And I'm like, good for you. That's awesome.
Yep. Center is in the middle of the floor with no bar.
No bar. And, you know, I mean, for most of us, we're like, what's the big deal? I mean, the big deal is you're literally standing on your tippy toes. That's the big deal.
You actually are. And it causes lots of blisters and bleeding. And then you get calluses and then they bleed in more. Yeah.
Get hammer time. You get nasty, destroyed feet.
But what's cool is, so we don't know the results yet. We'll find out. And we'll get to the show here in a second, but this is important stuff. So as we're leaving, my wife tells me, hey, if she gets accepted into this intensive program, you realize that it's a 5-week program from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, starting in June, and a half a day on Saturday. I was like, what? You mean you want to take half of your daughter's summer away so she can go work out for 9 hours a day, 5 days a week? Does she understand that this is what you're signing up? I don't think we're actually going to do it. Because then my wife was like, well, really, I just wanted her to get the experience trying out. Do you mean we all drove down here 45 minutes away from home so she could get experience trying out?
That's
so
good
anyway,
experience to have, though, whether she chooses to do it or not, like if she gets chosen or not. Audition experience is extremely important if it's something she wants to do.
I agree. But then what was really cool is last night she was invited. So my son plays keys and the bass in their church youth band, and he does that just about every week. And then they asked my daughter to join, so she got to sing for the first time with the youth band last night. So yesterday was a day full of firsts for her. She tried out, did point and center for the first time with no bar, and sang on the stage for the first time with the youth band. So it was pretty cool. We were literally gone all day. And I get home, I'm like, great, now I got to go to work tomorrow, but at least we have a show today. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about because a ton of stuff happened this weekend. We're going to talk about the CJNG cartel stuff that happened. I don't know if you guys realize, but you are watching the manifestation of the Don Road Doctrine play out right before your eyes. Several of Donald Trump's most important promises are literally materializing right before your eyes. We're going to talk about that. We've got a whole bunch of stuff on these idiots who cannot handle the fact that we actually have men in our government. Kash Patel goes over to Italy, gets invited into the locker room, celebrates like any red-blooded American would, and the betas on the left are losing their mind. We're going to talk about that. And I don't know, can anybody help me understand why are they so upset about this? They can't handle it.
Well, they're just looking for something to be mad about because they were making a big deal out of the fact that he even went to begin with and that he was flying on the FBI plane to the Olympics, and they were making a huge deal, but they don't realize he is required to fly on the FBI plane. And like you were talking about in the green room before we started, there's a purpose also for him being there, because are we not hosting the Olympics soon?
Yeah.
We are, and planning for the security for those Olympics has been underway for better part of an entire year already. And who better would you go and talk to than the country that is actively engaged in securing an Olympic from all the three? Do you guys have any concept of the amount and type of threats that these Olympic Games face just from all
bombing?
manner of people? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a reason why he was there, and the fact that he just stopped over and watched the Olympics and just so happened to watch one of the most incredible, miraculous victories since the last Miracle on Ice was just incredible timing. And as I've been referring to this Olympic event, it is the curse of the communist.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this before. When the U.S. Olympic men's hockey team takes the ice against communists, they win.
And the
That's just the way it
women's
works.
hockey team won as well. Both
That's right.
of them won.
Both in overtime.
They vanquished the new Canadian communists. And I think that might be the thing that has them the most upset.
I've been all up in their comments, the Canadians. I keep calling them East Alaska, and they don't like that at all. Like, not even a little bit. I keep calling them
the new Canadian communists. They like that.
East Alaska's funnier. I'm having a great time calling them. You want to watch their faces turn as red as their flag.
The number of people that have reached out to me privately and said, we're not all communist. Our government is just going in that direction. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're not communist, but your government absolutely is aligning with communists. That's just, I mean, it's a fact. You can't deny it. When they start partnering the way they're partnering with China, and when you put the former head of the London branch of the Federal Reserve, not the London branch, the Bank of London, as your prime minister, I mean, you're going full commie.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, M. Summers is right. They hate American exceptionalism. That's all this is. So Canada, like they do like two sports, hockey and curling, and they get to keep curling for, I don't know, probably another Olympics before we decide we're gonna get good at that and take that from them as well. But they just can't handle it. They can't handle the fact that there are, like PatriotDad said, red-blooded, testosterone-filled men and women. Some of those female hockey players. But they went out there and they kicked ass. They won. Did you see the score differential between the U.S. teams and the Canadian teams just across the entire tournament? It was insane.
No, what was it?
It was crazy.
You know,
it was crazy. I think it was like 7-1. It was insane. Wow. So yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they hate it. They can't handle it.
I didn't watch any of this. I haven't watched any of the Olympics, actually. But I saw something today. Did they say that one of these dudes got hit in the mouth with a hockey
stick? The guy that
stick?
scored the game-winning goal got his front teeth knocked out, right?
And
he had
like
3 front teeth were destroyed. One was broken in half. Yeah, he got smacked in the face with a hockey stick.
I mean,
and he was out there with blood flowing down his face. And meanwhile, you've got the guys over in the NBA, they're stubbing their finger and they're out for the entire season, making $57 million a year, and he's out for the whole season. This dude's got blood literally pouring down his face as he's winning the gold medal, as he's scoring the gold medal overtime winning goal. I mean, it's amazing.
So he really just picked his teeth up off the ice to show people that his teeth came out and then kept playing?
Well, no, he didn't even pick them up off the ice. He probably didn't know where they are.
Somebody said that when I heard this, I heard he like picked his teeth up and like showed him
Maybe.
to show that he like
I
lost
mean,
his teeth,
you
and then
didn't
he
have
just
to. I
like,
mean, all he had to do was smile, and like he's got a giant hole in his in his mouth.
I know
JQs, yeah.
I know that I saw this somewhere, and I'm trying to find it now. I may not be able to, but I could have sworn I saw, maybe it was a couple months ago, not that long ago, Justin Trudeau, probably the biggest twink on the planet, was complaining about US exceptionalism and just made a comment about how the United States cannot have hockey. And I want to find that quote because I know I found it. I know I saw it. So if I find it, I'm going to throw that up there. Before we move on, we just need to give a shout out to some of our incredible P0s that have been working their tails off behind the scenes to pull together clips, to pull together resources, to pull together graphics. We got Maggot Jake, who I think he has a new name. I think Guarding the Grid gave him a new name. What was the name that you gave him, Guarding? Can you remind me? What was his name? We got
I'll find it.
Maggot Jake, and we got Guarding the Grid, who these two are just working their butts off. And it's like they keep DMing us and telling us, hey guys, you guys are the blockers. Can you please check your DMs? Can you help us by actually engaging in this process with us? So they're trying to move Clipmaster Jake. That's it. Clipmaster Jake, I'm going to ask that you change your screen name to Clipmaster Jake, because based on the clips that I'm seeing, and it's not just for the Patriot Source podcast, but also for Red Wave Unfiltered. They've been pulling double duty, putting together some awesome material. And I'm excited to show some of it to you. I know Guarding sent us another buffer. Before I play it, I need to make sure that we're not going to get in trouble. So I'm going to run it through our licensing thing first, and hopefully we'll be able to show that to you later this week also. So we got that. We got all kinds of others. Did you guys see that Tucker Carlson basically walked himself, or should I say, it wasn't Tucker that did it. The fake ass America First betas have walked Tucker Carlson into probably what is going to be the most expensive defamation lawsuit in his entire professional career. So we may talk about that too. And my video about that called in all the sock puppets, all of them, hundreds of sock puppets were very upset that I would dare to point out the fact that Tucker Carlson flat out embarrassed himself with that interview with Mike Huckabee. Now, this is hard for me, folks. I am a Tucker Carlson fan. I have listened to his content, probably more of his content than most people. I appreciate the fact that he brings very diverse perspectives on his show, although lately they haven't been that diverse at all. They've been pretty one-sided. But usually he brings very diverse opinions on his show, and I enjoy it. I enjoy his opinion and his perspective. But for him to sit down with a U.S. ambassador and feed a line of slop to a U.S. ambassador the way he did, slop that is clearly not true, easily verified to be inaccurate, and then to act like, well, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. No, dude, you need to do a better job verifying the people that you are associating with. And I think I did a video on this. The law of association is going to destroy Tucker Carlson because he is surrounding himself with people who are willing to lie to you and to him. And he's going to have to wake up very quickly, or he's going to end up in a defamation lawsuit that he may not be able to get out of. Did you guys see what he did? Did you see that?
yeah, I saw it.
Crazy.
I just feel like all of this anti-Israel rhetoric and pushing the Epstein files stuff and all of the things that the candy cult and all these people are pushing, I feel like it's extremely coordinated, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it because I feel like there is a media company or someone that is behind paying these people.
Well, I mean, listen, you can't divorce this conversation from what we also saw happen on Sunday at Mar-a-Lago, right? Because they are 100% completely connected, as we know. But the entire point of what they're doing, I mean, you watched Kash Patel over there, celebrating, and within an hour, all you see is pedo protector Kash Patel. And now they're saying that the hockey players are pedo protect. I mean, see, this is all intentional, and the designed and stated goal, maybe not stated out loud, but it's very clear for us to see, is to make people so freaking insane that they will take a gas can and a shotgun to Mar-a-Lago to try to kill people. I mean, there's no other way to slice what they're trying to do. That's why they don't ever stop and change their rhetoric at all. They know exactly what it's creating. They know the types of people that they are getting inflamed, that they're getting fired up to do these things. They hope and they pray that somebody will get lucky and slip through the cracks and actually kill Donald Trump. That's what they want to happen.
That's right.
And this language is exactly what they're using to make it happen.
I think there's actually two things going on here. Sorry, SK, finish your thought, and then I want to piggyback off of what you said earlier.
I was just going to say, you mean like during a time when the Secret Service isn't getting paid? Like this was timed perfectly, almost like it was intentional.
Yeah, you can't forget that we are currently right now operating under a partial government shutdown where the Department of Homeland Security has been shut down because Democrats are refusing to fund it, which means Secret Service has had their funding shut down. I mean, you cannot argue the fact that there seems to be an effort, or argue against the fact that there seems to be an effort to try to limit and hamstring our ability to carry out the immigration agenda and to protect the president. And sure enough, right at that same time, some crazy dude who, by all accounts at this point, and I want to be clear, we don't know a lot about this guy yet. We will find more out about him as time goes on. So this is just based on available media reporting. Apparently, this guy is in fact a former Trump voter. That's what the reporting is saying. But something changed recently with him. And I think what's changed is that he has become a target for a massive propaganda campaign specifically designed to try to convince him that Donald Trump is the target of the Epstein files. And he's been convinced by these slop propaganda influencers that because things are not happening as fast as they demand them to, somebody needs to take action and take matters into their own hands. This is the second, as far as we know, the second violent act by somebody who is alleged to have turned violent because of what they're reading in the Epstein files. And I actually contend that there's two things going on. SK made a comment a little bit ago about the possibility that there are companies involved in this cyber warfare that's happening. And I think Garding's probably got some opinions on this. We can probably pick his brain later in the week. But I think there's two things going on. I do think that there is a organized, manufactured strategy to use disinformation and propaganda to divide the country, specifically divide MAGA. But I also think some of the willing participants in that, some of the big content creators, some of the influencers that you are seeing drive most of this, I think it's actually just a grift for them.
Some, but I do not think all. I think Candace Owens and some of the really big ones are either absolutely brainwashed and being psyoped, or they know they're being paid to say this stuff.
No, you're right. I think there's two levels of this. I think there's the Candace Owens, the multi-million follower accounts who are probably the ones who are being paid to do this type of stuff. But there are second and tertiary levels of influencers who are carrying a lot of the water, who are the ones out there making video after video. And the problem is, for those of us who spent any amount of time on TikTok, you know their faces, you know their names, you know their accounts, because I can't tell you the number of people who have reached out to me and said, what happened to that person? What the hell's going on with this person? Why is she saying that? Why is he suddenly saying that? And I have a theory. This is just a theory. I can't prove it. But anybody who creates content and is monetized on TikTok knows what has happened over on that platform in the last 18 months. We watched our monetization be cut by 80 to 90% in some cases. Some of us were making thousands of dollars a month by making content. We saw our views be slashed, and we saw our checks, our payouts be just basically eliminated. And some of the people that you have seen shift from TikTok over to Instagram and over to X My theory is that they are just trying desperately to replace the income that they lost, and they have figured out that there's a grift that is allowing them to do it, because you'll notice that a lot of those faces, those accounts that you've seen on TikTok, you used to follow and are now saying some of the craziest stuff in the world, are doing it on Instagram and on X now.
Yeah, well, the algorithms are pushing. Yeah, the algorithms are pushing it, right? Because all the sock puppets are trained. All the sock puppets and bot accounts are trained to go out and push that content, and to push it hard and as quickly and as far as they possibly can. Whereas, any content that's in the, that challenges or opposes this complete garbage narrative, it doesn't go anywhere. It's dead. You can't get a video to do anything over on TikTok anymore. I can't. I basically quit posting. I don't even care anymore.
Couple thousand views. That's about it.
No.
But and what's fascinating is there are some creators who have just decided, I'm just going to say what I believe, and they're consistent in that. And my theory is that the folks that you've seen shift 180 degrees almost for no reason at all, because if you start to push back and ask why, you're not getting an answer. You're just called a pedo protector. There's no desire or willingness to engage in the back and forth, which is a pretty clear indication that it's a grift. It's a grift.
Well, yeah, it's a grift. But they're doing what they always do, where they're taking these words that actually have very significant meaning, and you should be, shameful when someone calls you these things, where they don't mean anything anymore. Like someone calling you a racist or a rapist or a Hitler or Nazi or a fascist, or now a pedo protector, or even a pedophile, doesn't mean anything anymore.
That's right.
Because almost none of these people that they're calling pedophiles or pedo protectors, is there really any evidence that says that they actually are?
And Nazi,
right.
Almost none of them.
Nazi and Hitler,
right.
and
Nazi
talking
and Hitler
about
and all of
the
them.
Holocaust. I mean,
Yep.
none of these. If I were any of the things that are referred to, a minority of any kind, Jewish, had family in the Holocaust, any of these things, I would be furious with the people that are throwing these words around, because these words are becoming meaningless. And you're talking about an event that had 6 million people killed for their religious beliefs. Like, what?
I mean, think about this. If you live by the grift, you die by the grift. All right. My theory is that some of the people that you know and have followed are saying the things that they are saying because many of them left whatever jobs they had. This content creation is their career, and are desperate to figure out how to close a multi-$1,000 a month gap that was created when TikTok decided to basically shut them all down. You're seeing that. You're seeing it play out. And the other point that has to be made is that when you live by the grift, you die by the grift. You will always have to say something even more extreme next time. I just saw earlier today one of the biggest accounts that are driving the fake ass black pill nonsense. You guys know him, Ian Carroll. I used to follow his content. I used to love his stuff. They are now calling for a DNA test of Jews to determine whether or not they are actually Jewish enough to live in Israel. Can you believe that? They're calling for them to be DNA tested.
Asmongold got onto that when he was playing the clips. He tried to stay neutral, but he kept saying, well, if the science is on their side, why wouldn't they do it? Like, it was during Tucker Carlson's interview.
If you have nothing to hide.
Yeah. It was during Tucker Carlson's interview with Huckabee when he was saying that, Bibi's family is from that region and all of that. And Tucker's like, how do you know that? Where's the proof of that? Like, it's crazy to me.
Insane. Well, we didn't plan on starting there, but we spent a good 20 minutes talking about it, because this is an important topic, guys. You guys have to understand, most of what you're seeing on social media is fake. It's people that are trying to make money because they got their income slashed by TikTok. That's my opinion. And the rest of it are sock puppet accounts who are doing the engagement.
Antifa literally said they were going to use Israel to divide the right, and that's exactly what they've done.
That's right. All right, let's go back, because I think we do have a We Are Winning segment. And in case you guys missed it, we won big time on Sunday. The U.S. men's hockey team won the Olympic gold and defeated the new Canadian communist at their own game. And everybody
East Alaska.
the East Alaskan New Canadian Communist at their own game. How about that? If I can remember to let all that pour out of my mouth. Can we play the "We Are Winning" buffer? Can we get that? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, around. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and we can't forget that the women's hockey team won gold also. It was a full sweep of hockey for the men and women.
And didn't we win more medals?
Yeah. Look at that. All right,
we're gonna get demonetized there, but hey, if you have a problem with that, fuck off.
No, I have a question.
That's exactly what should be happening right now. In fact, every American should be celebrating that.
So let me ask the chat. And SK, I'd love your opinion on this. As a red-blooded American female, I'm curious, is there anybody that has any type of testosterone flowing through their bloodstream or knows anybody that has testosterone in their bloodstream anywhere? Is there anybody that has watched someone in their family enjoy a sport, get excited because their team won? I mean, I happen to be an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, and I can't tell you the level of excitement that happens when a team that I have almost no relationship to whatsoever, except the fact that I watch them on TV, wins a national championship. We basically do that kind of stuff. Is there anybody that watches Kash Patel celebrating with the gold medal hockey team and gets offended? Anybody? Raise your hand.
I am super offended because why should we have members of our government that act like regular people when they get excited because something huge happens? They're not allowed to do that. They're supposed to be wearing a suit and tie, and they're supposed to always be monotone and boring.
No.
Have you guys not followed Kash Patel? He is not a suit and tie monotone kind of guy. He never has been.
No, he's actually a hockey player, by the way. I mean, everybody.
I didn't know that.
People don't know. Yes, he actually plays in like a men's hockey league.
That's even more excuse for him to get excited about it.
Yes, that's a well-known fact that he's actually a hockey player. He grew up playing hockey and he still plays hockey at like 45 years old or however old he is.
Yeah, listen,
which is crazy.
I played competitive soccer, and the parents, we would be like begging to go back to the hotel because we would go eat after, like at the end of the tournament and things like that. When we would win, state tournament and all those types of things, the parents were celebrating like crazy, and all the kids are like, okay, can we just go back to the hotel? And the parents are like, no.
No. Hey, they're paying for it. They're spending all their time there to make sure you can do it. Let them enjoy it. I agree.
Oh, shoot.
But
Keep
I mean,
talking.
but
I got to get to the other folder.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, right? So you got all these people, they're going to try to find any reason that they can to try to take out anybody. They want a scalp. That's all they care about. They think they're going to get a scalp. The funniest part about it is none of these morons understand. As soon as anybody in the media, anybody on the left calls for a scalp from Trump's administration, from his cabinet, that is the damn surest way to make sure that Trump does not actually take that scalp. In fact, he's going to protect him.
I think he's going to go a step further. The level of meltdown that you're seeing from these lunatics on the left is quite likely to end up with a Medal of Freedom around Kash Patel's neck.
It might. Yeah.
I mean, he literally, Donald Trump could be like, oh, you don't like him that much? I'm giving him a Medal of Freedom, which, by the way, I think is the highest civilian medal that someone can. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Donald Trump to do that.
He's not actually a civilian, though. Would that count for cabinet members?
Non-military. I mean, like you can't get a Medal of Honor because you're not in the military.
Okay. No,
anyway, so for those of you who are really upset about this, if Kash Patel drinking a beer in a locker room upsets you, but this absolute life loser bozo going down to meet with the Maryland man who happens to also allege to have been a member of Tren de Aragua, or is it MS-13 gang member doesn't upset you, it's because you're a communist.
Yeah.
It's because you're a commie.
You guys realize all of this is connected, right? So what this guy here, wait, hold on, it's that way. What this guy over here down at the bottom was, is that Chris? That's not Chris Van Hollen. That's
Yeah, it is. It's Chris Van Hollen.
Is that Van Hollen?
Yep.
What he's doing, and the reason why Trump was getting folks like Abrego Garcia out of the country was because of exactly what we also saw going on at the same time with the Mexican cartels. Right? They wanted, Chris Van Hollen wants the Tren de Aragua and the MS-13 gang members here, which is what they were fighting for, because of exactly what we saw happen. So that President Trump can't shut down the trafficking networks, that all this stuff. So you have no problem with this guy over here having a beer going down to CCOT down in El Salvador, wherever the hell it was. But you have a problem with this guy up here who actually plays hockey, was over there doing actual FBI work, and then happened to stick around for the game. You're not serious. They just aren't serious people. You can't take them seriously.
I think we're gonna have to excuse SK for a second so she can go to the bathroom, because her eyes are floating. I can see right now they're floating.
No, I said I just was typing in the comments. I'm good for just a little bit.
This is a 2-hour show.
If you see me dip, you know where I went. Okay.
I wonder if what you're seeing in terms of the outrage towards Kash Patel is really just a bunch of redirected, misplaced anger at the fact that one of the left's most important cartels just got the head of the snake chopped off over the weekend. But we'll get to that later. We can get to that later. Hey, did you guys know that Kash Patel did not, in fact, hijack a U.S. airplane funded by U.S. taxpayers to fly over and celebrate with the men's hockey team? Because that's the nonsense that we're hearing out there. We're hearing that he literally stole a plane that you and I are paying for to go to the Olympics, which is the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard. Because actually what happened is, starting back in July, the FBI started conversations with the Italian Department of Public Safety on figuring out ways that they could develop more cooperation around dealing with cyber attacks. And in fact, the reason why Kash Patel was in Italy in the first place was to go sign a memorandum of understanding with the Italian law enforcement agencies so they could do that. And it just so happens that the signature of that was scheduled months in advance on the same weekend that the U.S. men's hockey team defeated the Western or Eastern Alaska?
East Alaska. It's just East Alaska. Like we've got
East
West Virginia,
Alaska.
we've got North Carolina and South Carolina. We have East Alaska.
So it just so happened that Kash Patel was in Italy the same weekend that the men's hockey team defeated the East Alaskan New Canadian Communist hockey team and was invited in to go celebrate. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't like it, but honestly, we don't really give a shit if you like it.
No.
And as a matter of fact, we get an enormous amount of enjoyment out of watching you not like it. I don't think you realize how much fun this is for us. When we watch you melt down.
Posted?
No, but I'm sure it was. Oh, was it the Donald Trump skating one?
No, it was like a bald eagle on. Is it the one that's half staff? The Canadian flag was at half staff after they lost the game, and there's a bald eagle on top of the thing.
All I know is I saw a bunch of videos, most of them AI, of eagles attacking Canadian geese, and the Canadian goose was losing in every single one of them.
Well, of course it will. Canadian geese have absolutely no defense mechanism besides being able to float on water. That's literally it.
It's true. It's true.
None.
It's absolutely true.
That and pooping.
The White House posted the one with the eagle attacking the Canadian goose.
So, but I do want to advance this conversation because there is a really important component of what the left is trying to do through this manufactured outrage that they have, because you're going to notice now that the shift in narrative has left the Olympic playing field, and now it's gone over into a realm that they think that they still have some legs to stand on. So now the argument that you're seeing from these lunatics is, well, we wouldn't be as upset with Kash Patel if he was actually taking seriously his responsibility to hold people accountable. As a matter of fact, I think I even have one in particular. Let me see if I can find this specific image. I don't know if I have it, but this is really okay. Never mind. So one of the bigger influencer accounts out there was arguing that if Kash Patel would only arrest some of these or Epstein predators, then they would be okay with him out there celebrating.
Who?
Well, one guy in
No.
particular.
Who do they want him to be arresting?
Well, that's a great question.
This is the question nobody's freaking answering for me yet. No one's answering. Who do they want them to arrest? Under what charge? What statute are they going to do it? Why can't anybody answer that question for me?
Well, I asked the question multiple times today in a couple of X posts, a video I posted on just about all of my platforms. And there have actually been a couple of reasonable answers to the question. Those are generally from people who think a lot like we do, who have actually read the files, and they realize that, you know, if you're going to investigate people, there's probably a few people you can investigate. People like Bill Gates, probably investigate him. Reid Hoffman, yeah, there's probably some stuff there for them to investigate. Bill Clinton, yep. Richard Branson, can probably investigate him. Based on what we're reading, you could probably pull Harvey Weinstein. You can probably pull Jay-Z. You can probably pull a whole host of people in and investigate them. The question is, what are you going to prosecute them for?
Well, there's also some victims that we actually have evidence that they helped procure women for Epstein. So, I mean, do they want victims arrested?
Well, I mean, so I actually have a couple of really good examples I want to show you guys here in a minute. But before we go there, I do want to stay on the FBI, Kash Patel, being a failed FBI leader because there hasn't been one single Epstein arrest yet, because that is the litmus test that these fake ass black pill America first influencers, many who are grifting to replace income they lost, in my opinion, are basing all of their hatred and ire against Donald Trump and Kash Patel on. They think that he's failed because he hasn't made an arrest yet. And the question that Nom asks is a really, really important one. Who do you want to see arrested when it comes to protecting children and protecting women? Because what's being lost in this conversation is that Kash Patel and the FBI under his direction is probably going to turn out to be one of the most successful FBIs in American history. The first year that Kash Patel has had so far has been absolutely record-breaking. Record-breaking. So here's just a couple of statistics that indicate the level of success that the Kash Patel FBI has had. There's been a historic 20% drop in the murder rate. We are right now sitting at the lowest rate of murder in the United States since the year 1900, 126 years. It has never been lower. 100% increase in arrest year to year. 2,000 plus kilos of fentanyl have been seized. Over 6,000 child victims have been located.
Wait, hold on. I thought that he was a pedo protector. He's a pedo protector that's actually overseeing the FBI, that's rescuing children who have been actually delivered. And these are the same kids, by the way, that were probably shoved across the border under the auto pen and disappeared and were actually given to pedophiles. And now he's going out and he's getting them and he's saving them and retrieving them from the pedophiles. But yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, all those kids the Biden administration wouldn't even look into when people were calling in tips saying this is not okay. People that worked at these places were like, this is not okay. There are thousands of kids that are in the same place at the same, given to the same people with the same address. This is not okay. And they didn't investigate a single call. Not one.
Not one.
No, not one. But the graphic that Nom just showed you is really only part of the story. So I went out and did a little bit more research on this because I wanted to know specifically, what has the Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, up until very recently, FBI done to actually protect women and children? And this is what I found. In the first 200 days, under their leadership, 1,600 arrests for violence against kids. The FBI has arrested 1,600 people for violence against children. That's more than the Christopher Wray FBI, That's more than the Biden administration FBI.
That's
Did you
8
know
a
that?
day. You said
Wasn't
200
there
days.
just a judge,
In the first 200 days.
So
and
that's 8
wasn't
a day.
Yep.
and wasn't there just a judge arrested for
Yeah.
like
A judge in North
child?
Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, some of the largest trafficking rings have been busted up. I mean, there's been a lot of work going on.
Well, out of that 1,600, 270 of those were related directly to human trafficking. Yeah, see, look, now I'm just pulled it up. A federal case against accused Charleston judge expands to include allegations of sexual abuse. September 22nd, 2025. That's the Kash Patel FBI. That's the work that the FBI has been doing under the director that people want you to believe is protecting pedophiles. He's actually out there arresting them. 6,000 child victims have been located and rescued under this FBI. 6,000. That's 6,000 more than what the Biden administration did when they let 350,000 unaccompanied minors flow over to the border and then just vanish into thin air. I guarantee you that a large number of those 6,000 are part of that number that the Biden administration allowed just to flood into the country.
Folks, that's 20 a day, and call it 300 days because they haven't even been in. Kash hasn't even been there for a full 365 days. Call it, I don't know, call it 300 days. That's 20 children rescued every single day by this FBI.
Well, and there's more.
That's pretty good.
Just in the first 3 months of their leadership. So we talked about the first 200 days, right? Which is about 7 months. The first 3 months, they arrested 450 child predators. 450. Rescued 225 victims of those predators.
How many FBI's most wanted? Top 10 FBI's
6.
most wanted. There
6.
you go.
6.
Yeah.
They have found 6 of the top 10 most wanted people on that list. So the FBI launched something called Restore Justice back in April. 205 arrests for production and distribution of child porn. 205 people arrested for just producing and distributing it. They shut down 3.8 child pornography sites on the dark web. 3.8 million child pornography sites on the dark web.
Why is
3.8
there
million.
3.8 million to begin with? This is
Because
you
prior
guys, I can't.
administrations, well, look, you guys are going to get sick of hearing Nom and I say this, but there is a reason why this stuff happens. It's a very simple reason. Because they want it to happen.
That's right.
It's that simple. Why does 3.8 million child pornography sites exist on the dark web? Because they want it to. If they didn't want it to, they would shut it down. This isn't that hard. If they didn't want 350,000 unaccompanied minors to flow into the country and vanish, they would have shut it down. It's not that hard. So they extended Operation Restore Justice in December. And since December, another 300 more arrests for child abusers.
Now, everybody understand, this is just what the FBI's done, not what ICE and Customs and Border Patrol have done. That's an entirely different a data set of all the thousands of kids that they are rescuing as they're arresting these criminal illegal aliens.
Didn't they find like 60-some thousand of those kids that they couldn't find?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
so,
you guys,
so we're attacked. I mean, listen, all the Renee Good, the Alex Preddies, all that protesting, all that rioting that goes on, and you want to talk about pedophile protectors? That's who they're arresting, guys. That's who they're out there getting off the streets. They're getting the cartel gang members and the violent criminals that have no business being here. They're getting them off the streets. They're protecting these children. They're rescuing these children, and they're preventing those entrenched gang members, cartel members, from enacting terrorist attacks on this country like they wanted, like they want to. Do you have any idea what yesterday or today or next week may look like, may have been able to look like based on what happened to that cartel leader? If we still had, 100,000, because what they've got rid of 400,000, 600,000 people, something like that so far. How many of those were criminal cartel gang members? I mean, lot of them.
The vast majority. So 70% of the people that have been deported so far, 70% have had some type of a criminal record. Maybe not a violent record, but some type of a criminal record or have pending charges against them. So SK, Nom, are you guys familiar with that group called the 764 Network? Have you guys heard about that group?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're gross.
I don't know a lot about it, but apparently there is this online group of people who are just doing some of the most disgustingly sadistic things to kids, coercing them into just all kinds of just horrific stuff. This massive network of these just digital demons floating around the internet that are basically destroying the lives of your kids online.
Yeah. And
I
games
wish
like
I could
Roblox and others. Yeah.
remember- I wish I could remember the girl's name on X that basically all she does is research and expose this. They have a Discord. This group does. She's in their Discord. The stuff that I listened to her one time on an X space, and I was like, I was so nauseous. I couldn't even finish. And I mean, she's all up in it, like undercover in the Discords and everything.
That's right. Well, under the Kash Patel FBI, they have put a target on that organization, and you've seen a 5x increase in arrests and investigations into that network since then. 5x increase. This is what happens when you actually care about protecting kids and going after child predators. You start to arrest them. You may not actually have the evidence in the Epstein files as it exists today, because it is very clear that for multiple decades, FBI directors, departments of justice, and all the way up to possibly even presidents did everything they could to make sure that you only had a prosecutable case against two people, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But everywhere else, they are doing everything they can to go after these people. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but back in September of 2025, the FBI and I think Department of Homeland Security arrested one of the top leaders of the CJNG cartel, a woman by the name of La Diabla. You guys know what La Diabla means, don't you?
The devil.
The devil. It's the feminine
She-devil.
version of the devil.
She's the she-devil, yeah.
And they arrested her and indicted her on charges of running an infant trafficking ring. Trafficking ring.
That's one of the ones I was talking about earlier when I said,
Yeah.
didn't they bust up some of the largest? The stuff that woman was doing is horrific.
Well, people need to hear it, because if you're going to accuse the Kash Patel FBI of not caring about women, explain to me why they arrested and indicted this woman who was luring pregnant women, forcing cesareans on them, in many cases murdering the mother, and then harvesting not only the baby, but also the organs of the female, and then selling those babies into this country.
So, I mean, I brought this comment up because it's completely right. He's saying, forget about this country and the changes that this FBI is making to the criminal underbelly that exists in this country. If this keeps going, you're going to see the entire hemisphere change. So Patriot Dad there is talking about La Diabla. That stuff's been allowed to fester south of our border, all over the place. South America, Central America, El Salvador, Ecuador, all of those countries are absolute shithole and cesspools where people are just, they're just prey. And this administration, by cleaning this stuff up, by taking out these cartels, and frankly, by stopping the flow, because you wouldn't have a baby mill like that. You wouldn't have all this trafficking if you didn't have a customer that was interested in procuring it and buying it, right? And you got to deal with both. You got to deal with the flow. You got to deal with the source, and you have to deal with the people who are actually consuming it too.
Mimi said that they're up to 130,000 of the missing illegal migrant children that have been found. I think it was like 65,000 just in the first few months.
So, I mean, I think Nom makes a really important point here, right? I mean, if you are going to shut down the child trafficking that people are reading about in the Epstein files, then you have to first shut down the networks which supply the children to the trafficking ring. Jeffrey Epstein does not go out and actually procure these kids himself. They come from somewhere, and where they come from are organizations like the CJNG, which is not just a drug cartel, but one of the largest human trafficking and child trafficking networks on the entire planet.
A lot of those girls came from Eastern Europe.
Yeah. A lot of them did. They came from Eastern Europe to follow the Berlin Wall, and later on, you saw the USSR collapse, and all those Romanian and Polish and Czechoslovakia and all those Eastern European or Western Russian, I guess, those Balkan states, they had nowhere to go, and a lot of those blonde hair, beautiful women were like, yeah, they got dragged into it. Absolutely.
So while we wrap up this segment, I just want to put a pretty little bow on this to try to help contextualize the difference between what you're hearing and seeing from the fake ass America First black pill crowd. Again, many of whom I believe, in my opinion, are saying the things that they're saying because there's a desperate need to replace income that they lost from other platforms. I'm going to keep saying that because I think it's true. But again, it's just my opinion. I can't prove that because none of them will actually admit it. But nonetheless, what you're hearing from them is that Kash Patel and the Trump administration have failed because they're not arresting anybody. And what I just showed you, what we just walked through, is a very clear case of not only of them hyper-focused on trying to actually shut down the networks, and the people in the country who are doing this stuff today are still doing this stuff today. Not in emails from 15 years ago, but are doing this stuff today in this country. And they're shutting them down. Kash Patel is going to go down as the FBI director that provided the most security in this country in any of our lifetimes. You watch.
I have a question. Just listening to you say that, why is it that these people that are these supposed Trump supporters that all of a sudden like switch over these topics like Israel and Epstein and all of this? Why don't they ever get accused of being paid when every single one of these people, I mean, the comments are always full of people accusing us of being paid by Israel, by Russia, by all sorts of people. Nobody does that to them. Don't you think that's a little weird?
Yep. Because we're not stupid, frankly. I don't go around thinking people who say dumb shit are paid. I mean, we know they're engagement farming. That's it, right? They're engagement farming.
Engagement farming. Yeah. So folks, just ignore the slop that you're seeing play out right now. Hold on a second. I want to look at something. Down 4.3 in Q3. Bear with me just 1 second.
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some. I'm gonna have to do some research on this because Audrey is just in here just providing slop in the chat. But that's okay because that's what they do.
I've seen Democrats, lefties throwing these numbers around like 2025 lost all these jobs. I don't know where the shit's coming from. It's bullshit.
Audrey, you fail to state that Biden's numbers the last 2 years of his presidency, the jobs numbers had to be revised by 1.9 million.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with me here.
Don't lose focus because I don't know where you're planning on taking the rest of the show.
Well, yeah, I don't either. So totally lost focus. We'll get back to
that. Audrey can scream it. I knew it was going to happen.
I'm like, I see numbers and they don't line up with what I'm seeing, but we'll get back to that. We'll maybe do a show on that on Wednesday. So I think it goes back to the question that I keep asking people, and I'm not getting any answers. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Who do you want to see arrested? Who should be arrested? Who are the people that you want to see frog marched based on what you're reading in the Epstein files that should be arrested? Because I have some ideas, but I have a feeling that some of the ideas that I'm going to show you are going to make you a little bit uncomfortable. Are you okay with being uncomfortable? GR Patriot says Obama. Yeah, I love yeah, definitely. Candace Owens. I don't know if she'll be arrested, but she will probably end up being sued into a van down by the river at some point.
In a van?
In a van down by the river. So I'm gonna take over the graphics here for just a second.
Yeah, because we don't have anything left in there. We've used all our powder.
All right. So what about this one?
In there?
Is this one? What about this one? Would you guys like to see the person who wrote this email arrested? Because this is one of the emails that everybody is screaming about. Why can't you arrest this person? The person who said your littlest girl was a little naughty, because that sounds like somebody that you would want to arrest, doesn't it? Right? Isn't that somebody you would probably want to arrest?
I mean, What does that mean?
Don't you think you should also maybe well, here, what about this one? How about this one? Should we think about maybe arresting this person? The person behind this email? The one that, you guys remember that horrific, awful story about the little girl who believed that Jesus was protecting her? So they decided to dress up as Jesus, and she knows that Jesus watches over her and he helped save her life. Whoops. You guys remember that?
I remember that one.
I can't.
You,
it makes me enraged.
I mean, those people should probably be arrested, shouldn't they? What do you guys think in the comments? You think they should be arrested?
I don't know why. I don't see any crimes there. What actually happened? See, this is the thing. I know where this is going, but how do we know anything actually happened there?
Well, we don't, and that's part of the problem. You see, that first email, the one about the little girl being naughty, comes from a woman named Susan Hamblin. Susan Hamblin is somebody who took a plea deal and was given victim status under the previous Department of Justice. So the previous Department of Justice determined that this person who is writing these emails was in fact a victim, and you can actually make a case that Susan Hamblin, who is this little tiny person here on the far right in the blue, was actually referring to herself.
That's what I was saying.
Not another person.
Right. Not another person like a child. She was referring to herself. That's how I read that.
Yeah.
Calling herself his littlest girl.
Yeah. And you'll
because
see,
look at her. She's freaking tiny.
She's a little person. She's tiny. But to make matters worse, if you want to arrest these people, then you're going to have to get really comfortable with the idea that many of the people who should be arrested were in fact victims. You're going to have to get really comfortable with that.
But this is my entire point. What are you going to arrest somebody for from those emails?
Well, but Pam Bondi even said it, and I've seen it because I've seen all the documents from 2008. A lot of these victims were also procuring minors for Jeffrey Epstein well after they were 18 years old. They would go back to their old high school, offer these chicks $200 to go give a massage to Jeffrey Epstein, and then they would go, and then they would continue to go back, and then they would continue to go back, and then they would recruit more girls. That's how this worked, because Jeffrey always wanted new girls.
That's right.
So NS Hughes says they should be investigated. They have been.
Well, let's be very clear about how we know that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's set this up. Take that comment off real quick. Let's set this up for a second. I want to show you guys the next one. So the second email that I showed you was the one about the Jesus and all that stuff. The person who wrote that email is a woman by the name of Nadia. Nadia was listed as a co-conspirator in the New York case. She was then given a plea deal and she was given victim status. Nadia is the author of the email about the little girl and Jesus. That was Nadia, another co-conspirator slash victim.
How many of these women have been on these press conferences with their faces everywhere?
Most of them. Most of them.
But here's you guys hold on? Did you guys see in that where they said Nadia was listed as a co-conspirator in the New York case, but she pled down and was given victim status instead? So now the New York case, everybody understands what that means, right? That's Maureen Comey, the Southern District of New York, knew this woman was a co-conspirator, meaning she was helping procure other girls for Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And Maureen Comey in her Southern District of New York, the U.S. attorneys over there, gave her a plea deal and said, we know you're doing it, but we're going to go ahead and plead you down, and we're going to give you victim status so that you're protected now.
That's right. Now, to that other comment that Nom put up here about these people should be investigated, Nom, SK, you want to take a wild stab at why the from line on this email is redacted?
Are they a victim or are they being investigated?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Because there's a couple of reasons that could... Sorry, it's over here. It's over there for me. It's over here. This right here, this redaction could be because she's actually a victim and a co-conspirator, or it could be because she's actively being investigated by the Department of Justice, which Pam Bondi did say out loud 2 weeks ago when she was in front of the Senate.
I can't tell you the number of total slop propagandists that are running around social media right now trying to convince you and everyone else that this administration promised that they would release every name that was not a victim. And that may have been true at one point. The problem is that Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace and a whole bunch of other people actually drafted legislation that would make that illegal. The Trump administration is legally prohibited from releasing the names of people who are currently under investigation. It's in the freaking bill.
And they know this. They know this, yet they continue to push this propaganda and talk about this all day, every day, when Pam Bondi and everyone else has made it clear. We've shown you the legislation and exactly what it says. They know this. And if they don't, they need to be kicked out of Congress because they didn't do their job and read the bill.
Yeah. So Ken, Second Amendment, great question. The name is redacted. So how can we take the word? It's who they say it is. Well, because Anna Paulina Luna is somebody that I think can actually be trusted. And when she comes out and she says, hey, I looked at these redacted names and these are the two people that are under redaction, I don't see any reason why we can't trust her. But the truth is, I guess you can't, because we can't see under the redaction because either A, they're a victim, B, they're under investigation, C, there's some national security thing going on, or it's actually includes child pornography, which are the 4 reasons why they're required to redact things.
Security, like you mean bringing down the monarchy in the UK,
or having a Saudi Arabian or some Middle Eastern prince in the files. Yeah, believe it or not, this stuff actually does have national security implications. I don't know. I don't personally care. I want to see the whole damn thing brought down. The problem is Congress passed the law, told the Trump administration, these are the reasons why you shall redact things. And then when they do, the same people who pushed it in Congress are now out there telling the American people that the Trump administration was holding things from the American people illegally, which is just a flat out freaking lie. It's a lie. It's a flat out lie. So the question again is, who do you think should be arrested? Because I think, unfortunately, for a lot of these fake ass black pill America First hoaxsters and the media and the radical left, the only people that are left at this point are the Reid Hoffmans, the Bill Gates, the Bill Clintons, Jay-Z, all of their celebrities, all of their politicians, all of their donors to the NGOs that are littered throughout these files. And yet I don't hear a single one of them talking about arresting those people.
It's over 4 million documents in SUs. It took, come on. No.
Well, and we should also point out the fact that the DOJ, they requested an independent monitor. They even said Congress could appoint this person. They could pick them. They didn't care. They just wanted a monitor. They wanted someone to oversee and to help. There were tons of documents. They wanted to make sure everything was done properly. And Congress said no.
That's right. Joanne Freeman. Yes. That's another one of them. Somebody who's standing behind the microphone and the cameras claiming to be a victim.
Wait, is that the right one?
Yeah.
You got the wrong. Wait. You got the wrong.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sarah Kellen was Epstein's assistant.
Yeah.
Yes, but also Epstein's assistant. She's the one that's in all these emails, and every single time you look at the flight logs and it says SK, it's not me.
No,
it is
it's
Sarah
not SK.
Kellen.
That's right. It's Sarah Kellen. All right. Do you think we beat this one into the ground?
I mean, like 12 shows in a row.
I know you're tired of it. This isn't going to go away, though.
Over Jeffrey Epstein. Over it.
You have to understand that Jeffrey Epstein and the files is the central point of everything that has happened in this country since Donald Trump came down the golden escalators. Everything.
Well, the only way we can continue to make sure that our country moves in the proper direction is by everyone getting out and voting in the primaries.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, did you guys see this? Did you guys see? Where's it at? Darn it! Why can't I ever find anything? No, we need to go back to numbering these things instead of naming them.
No, because what number would you be on right now?
I don't know. I have no idea what number I would be on right. Oh, there it is. This one. Did you guys see this? This is going to blow your mind. Does anybody want to explain to me why Jeffrey Epstein is working with Catherine Rumler to try to set up a meeting with John Brennan? Anybody? Anybody? Do you want to help me understand why in 2017, Kathy Rumler and Jeffrey Epstein are trying to set up a meeting with John Brennan right at the exact same time that the deep state was in full-on Russian collusion hoax mode? Anyone want to explain that to me? Huh? Any ideas?
We'd have to go back and look and see what was going on in the Russiagate nonsense in July of 2017. I know what was going on in July of 2016. They were kicking off the Crossfire Hurricane scam, but what was happening a year later? Had they been successful in appointing Robert Mueller by then?
I'd have to look when his appointment was, but there were all those messages with the Soros guy. All of that stuff was going on. Well, that might have been 2016. I'll have to look. I have all of it downloaded.
I'll find out right now. We will find out. When was Robert Mueller appointed? Robert Mueller was appointed May 17th, 2017. And what was
Mueller,
this date?
Yep.
July 4th, 2017. So barely 45 days later, Jeffrey Epstein is working with Catherine Rumler to try to get a meeting with John Brennan. And by the way, I will remind you, do you guys remember who that other dude was that was the star witness for Robert Mueller? What was his name? The guy that
the guy who went to jail for child porn.
Yeah.
God, what was his name?
What the hell is his name? Doesn't matter. But one of the star witnesses for Robert Mueller, probably around the same time that Epstein is trying to make contact with John Brennan, is also represented by the same attorney, Barack Obama's former fixer and White House chief counsel, Catherine Rumler, was the representative for the guy who ultimately went to jail for child pornography and was the star witness for Robert Mueller. So anybody want to explain to me why this guy is trying to get in touch with John Brennan right at the exact same time that the Robert Mueller investigation is kicking off? Anybody? No? Maybe we should arrest John Brennan too. What do you think?
Yeah, we should arrest John Brennan, but for different reasons, but
maybe we should. And if I recall, this is also right about the same time that the email came out showing that Jeffrey Epstein was chatting with Catherine Rumler.
George Nader.
That's right.
Yep.
About a 2-hour conference call with Susan Rice. Why is Jeffrey Epstein, one of the most prolific child predators on the planet, setting up conversations or trying to set up conversations with the people who were at the heart of the Russian collusion hoax? E-Man, 2,700, $9.99. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for this conversation. These details are incredibly important that this should be required viewing. People are so emotionally spun up, they don't think. And that is such an important point. Folks, we have got to be better at this. We have got to be better at understanding when we are being lied to. It's hard, I know, because information is flying at you 1,000 miles a minute. But that just means that we're going to have to slow down a little bit, and we're going to have to pause and deploy the William Wallace rule. Hold, and just think about, wait, did I just hit?
You did. Your sound is up.
Plug your sound back in. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Where's your audio? Are you back?
Nope, no sound.
No sound. That's no good.
What an actual shit show this is.
Hey, while this is going on, did you guys see?
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, that was weird. I'll have to figure that out later. My microphone and in-ears just went kaput. All right, let me turn the volume up. Does my audio sound terrible on the laptop microphone?
No, you're fine. Sounds good. Okay. No,
yeah,
I did not mute him.
Nom muted me because he had control of the conversation on Friday, and I stole it back from him today.
I did not mute him.
Oh, fuck. All right. We're moving on. Did you guys see Tucker Carlson screw up over the weekend? Did you guys see that?
No.
Holy
I started to listen to a bit of his podcast, or it's supposed to be his interview with Mike Huckabee, but he spent like the first 30 minutes just explaining how he got there, and I ran out of time, so I never even heard any of the interview.
Yeah,
The interview was crazy.
Was it?
I didn't finish the whole thing, honestly, because I was just like, this is stupid. The guy basically tanked every bit of credibility he had going into this conversation in the first 45 minutes. So for me, it was basically over. But let's do this. Because it got so bad for Tucker Carlson.
Did you see that?
What?
Did you see that comment?
Which one?
Bongino used the Braveheart hold today.
He's been using it for years, but yeah, that's Bongino's been using it for years.
I'm telling you, they're listening, folks. You're not wasting your time here.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, is a Bonginoism. We just stole it. But so if you haven't had a chance to go watch the Mike Huckabee, Tucker Carlson interview, do it. I encourage you to sit down and listen to it so that you can understand exactly how bad it's going to be for Tucker Carlson if the president of Israel decides that he wants to press a defamation case, because it was bad. It was really bad. So let me give you a little bit of background. So coming into that conversation, one of the first things that Tucker Carlson presses Mike Huckabee on is this narrative that's floating around out there that the president of Israel, a guy by the name of Isaac Herzog, was somebody that was listed as having gone to the island, to Epstein Island. As a matter of fact, I think the way Tucker Carlson described it as he was talking to Mike Huckabee is he was on Pedo Island. He called it Pedo Island to a U.S. ambassador right to his face. And of course, Mike Huckabee was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
He said repeatedly that he had not heard that. And he was kind of asking him where he heard that. And Tucker Carlson kept saying all these things, and he kept saying, I haven't ever heard that. But then he would say, well, you said that you looked into the files and that you care about the files and they're important, but you don't know these things. And he's like, I haven't heard these things, and I've looked at this.
Yeah. Well, here's where it came from. So there was an email that was released, this one right here, an email that came out in the Epstein file dump. And I want to read it to you so that you can understand it. So it's from Jeffrey Epstein on Wednesday, December 10th, 2014. And that date is going to be really important, so pay close attention. Wednesday, December 10th, 2014. To Melanie Spearwella, whoever that is. It says, Gratz, Charity, Herzog, and Ehud coming to the island this weekend. Come, plain 3-issue, art gift, accounting house, whatever the hell that means. So the allegation that Tucker Carlson was working off of was that Herzog, or somebody by the name of Herzog, was mentioned in the Epstein files as going to the Epstein Island the weekend following the Wednesday, December 10th email. And the allegation that he was operating under is that Herzog can only possibly be the now current president of Israel, a guy by the name of Isaac Herzog. So understand that when this interview was taking place last week, we had already known that entire narrative had been debunked. And how did we know that? Well, pretty easy, because there is, in fact, a photograph or an image of Isaac Herzog in attendance at a Labor Party conference in Tel Aviv on December 14th, 2014. Right? So the email says on the 10th, which is a Wednesday, that Herzog is going to be on the island this weekend. And yet the Isaac Herzog that Tucker Carlson accused of being on Pedo Island to the ambassador's face was, in fact, in Tel Aviv on Sunday, December 14th. Well, and I've heard people say things like, well, maybe he just flew in and flew back. Do you know how long it takes to get to the Caribbean from Israel? Has anybody done that math before? I did. There is no commercial direct flight from Israel to the U.S. Virgin Islands. In order to get there, you have to fly through Europe to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and just the flight alone takes 21 hours. That does not include water travel and helicopter travel to get to the island from the airport. Just 21 hours. Now, let's assume for a second that Isaac Herzog wanted to get in and out as quickly as he could and chartered a chartered flight. It still takes 12 hours to get there by chartered flight. So these idiots out there are still trying to convince you that there is a window of time that the president of Israel, the now president of Israel, could have slipped into Epstein Island and then left and made it to. These people are freaking insane.
How many other Herzogs are there in the world?
Probably a lot.
So why are we convinced from that email that it's one dude? Especially in the face of information that the dude was on the other side of the planet at the time, or within 12 hours of when he was supposed to be there.
Well, here's why they're convinced. This is the wrong one. Here's why they're convinced. Because there is a photograph floating around that shows Isaac Herzog with Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and 2 other women. You see that? This photograph was published by the British media in early February. This is a fake photograph. It is AI generated. In fact, the journalist who published it had to come out and admit that she made it up, or not that she made it up, but that she got slopped. On February 9th, she says, just to clarify, the photograph was an AI fake. I can only apologize for the grave error in judgment for reposting the photo, and to the president for any harm this has caused. And she goes on to say, I mistakenly posted a photo of President Herzog without checking the source, and I am sorry for that. The photograph nor the president were not mentioned in my article. They knew this on February 9th. February 9th. So am I making an allegation that Tucker Carlson knowingly lied to the U.S. ambassador? Absolutely not. Because I don't think he did. I don't think he knowingly lied to anybody. I think the problem for Tucker Carlson is he has surrounded himself with people who are willing to lie to you and to him and are going to walk him straight into a defamation case. This was an epic disaster for Tucker Carlson. And it got so bad for him that he had to come out and do this.
Dude, Ambassador Mike Huckabee in Israel the other day, I asked him about the Epstein files, specifically about an email the Department of Justice released from December of 2014 from Jeffrey Epstein to his friend Leon Black, inviting him to his now famous island in the Caribbean. And in that email, he says lots of other people are coming, among them, quote, Herzog and Ehud Barak. And so I asked Huckabee, were you aware that this email suggests that the current president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, went to Epstein's island? And Huckabee said, no, he wasn't. And I asked him about it again. So at the time I said that, there had been news items about this. In fact, there was a protest against Herzog on the basis of this email when he went to Australia recently, and he hadn't responded to any of that. Well, now we've received a long letter from President Herzog's office denying that he went to Epstein's island. In fact, denying unequivocally that he had any contact with Epstein ever. They didn't know each other. They never emailed with each other, never been in the same room. They had no relationship of any kind. I've gotten a lot of letters like this over the years from people alleging, oh, you got it wrong. But rarely do you get a denial this unequivocal. And so for that reason, we are taking it seriously. There's nothing worse than impugning the reputation of an innocent man. And so I just want to say clearly, I'm sorry to imply that I knew something I didn't know. Of course, I don't know that Isaac Herzog was on the island. I was referring to that email and the protest against him, but I don't know that. And I didn't mean to suggest that I do know that. And I also wanted to air his side of this. Again, President Herzog says he's never had any contact with Epstein ever.
Unmuted. All right. So that's Tucker Carlson coming out and acknowledging the fact that he screwed up royally. I saw a comment in here that I want to bring up because we need to address this. Do you think he was set up? In my opinion, I don't know if he was set up as much as he's being influenced by people who either don't know what they're talking about or are just straight up lying to everybody. And who specifically? I'm going to show you some examples. So after everyone on the planet had known that President Herzog could not have been the one on the island, some of the biggest slop influencers out on social media were continuing to push this narrative. This one really upsets me. Dr. Simon Godek. Do you guys know who he is? Anyone know who Dr. Simon Godek is?
No.
So he built his platform on X, has over 1 million followers on that platform during COVID, because he was one of the few people who are willing to tell the truth about what was happening at COVID. And now this is what he's been relegated to right here. Has it ever crossed your mind that pedophiles aren't exactly known for being honest about whether they were on a pedophile island or not? This is after we already knew that there was no possibility he was on the island.
So wait, hold on. So you have an actual scientist, right? An actual scientist, a doctor
Godek,
who is circularly circling back to the original email as the evidence for the supposed pedophile is lying, when the original email is what they're claiming isn't that dude. Are you going to provide any like other evidence to any of these? This is why I think this is so stupid. I can't.
I know you can't.
It is so absent any freaking common sense at all. None of these people are using it. Just a modicum of common sense. Any of this stuff. Is it a crime to visit Epstein's island? Can anybody answer that question for me?
Well, not to visit the island, but it depends on what's happening on the island when you visit.
Agreed. Now tell me what happened. What anybody named Herzog did on that island. Does anybody know? Is there any documentation? Is there any email? Is there any text message? Is there anything that tells us what anybody named Herzog did while he was on the island with 5 other people?
No, because the protectors of the pedo protectors and the pedo protectors themselves made sure of that. I showed you guys last week the FBI note from December of 2024 when the Biden FBI clarified that they had no evidence in the Epstein files of a client's list. I showed you that already. I showed you the case that Maureen Comey built on Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell that was specifically designed to only focus on those two. And this is another one. At the same time that the American people were being made aware of the fact that Herzog could not have been on the island, this is what big influencer Slop was doing online. So why does this email in the Epstein file say that Herzog is coming to the island this weekend? Maybe because it was another Herzog.
I'm going to pull that back up real quick. Keep talking. I want to see guest charity. Cloud Chud going to Ireland this weekend. Didn't in Tucker's little hostage video, apology video, didn't he say that Ehud Barak and Herzog were both on this email? Am I missing it?
Ehud Barak is on the email. We know that he was a frequent visitor. It's right next to it, right next to his name. So Herzog, Ehud.
Oh, Ehud. I thought it said Chud. Okay.
No,
okay.
It's Ehud. And we know that Ehud Barak, if you want to arrest somebody, maybe start there. Maybe start there. But the problem is you're not going to be able to arrest a Israeli citizen in Israel unless the Israeli government, sends them back here. One of the other allegations. Oh, before we do that, did you guys see this? I mean, these people have lost their ever-loving minds. So the same Dr. Godek, who realized that he got his ass handed to him over the Epstein issue and Tucker Carlson, then decided he wanted to go after Kash Patel in one of the most racist attacks that you could probably see in a long time. This is an account that has 1 million followers, over 1 million. So you wonder why people on X and other platforms are running around with their heads cut like chickens with their heads cut off. It's because you have big influencers like Dr. Simon Godek, over 1 million followers, sending out racist shit like this?
I have an idea. Dr. Simon Godak should be just as canceled as everybody he thinks should be canceled because their name showed up in the Epstein files. Because that's just some racist shit right there. Like incredibly racist shit. Dr. Simon Godak, if you're listening, I know you're not because you're a very important person. You're a racist motherfucker. That's very racist.
I'm going to show you guys one more. Since we're on this influencer slop, SK, are you going to say anything? Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. I really had to go.
You got anything to add?
My husband was like, "Are you guys done already?" I was like, "No, I got to pee."
You got anything to add to the slop influencer segment?
No, I just am convinced that at least some of them are being paid, especially after all the stuff Data Republican put out about gray zone and the stuff that was going on with the protests in Iran. And yeah.
Yep. All right. I got one more for you. You guys are going to love this one because you guys all know this face. Am I on the, hold on. Let me pull up the video. This is another one of the big Candace Owens, Candyland cult influencers, narrative nonsense people. Why is it not coming up? Oh, it's a picture. Darn it. I'm gonna get the video. See if I can find this video. Hold on.
We all supposed to just sit here and be quiet?
No, you guys talk amongst yourselves. It's
quietly amongst ourselves.
I will say now I know for 100% sure that my husband doesn't watch the podcast.
No.
He's like, "Are you guys done already?" Like,
no, yeah,
you're not watching.
No, Mrs. Nom will already be in bed after her evening toilette, and I'll go in there. She's like, "Oh, you're done?" I'm like, yeah, we're done.
All right, here, let me do it this way. I'm going to send another screenshot to the Dropbox so that we can look at this because you guys have to see this. All right. So somebody sent me a video on Instagram of one of the biggest slop propagandists on all of social media. And it's this video right here. And all I have is a screenshot of it. So this video shows Ryan Mata reading from the giant screen behind him, reading what appears to be a quote from the Jerusalem Post back in 1990. Okay. And I'm going to pull up a closer view of this quote. And I want you guys may not have ever seen this before. I want you guys to take a close look at this quote that he's reading. All right. Let me pull it up here as well so that I can read it to you. So this is a video that somebody sent me on Instagram. And it says, quote, "If we get caught, they will just replace us with persons of the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do. America is a golden calf and we will suck it dry, chop it off and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we will create and control." Why? Because it's God's will and America is big enough to take the hit so we can do it again and again. This is what we do to countries that we hate. We destroy them very slowly and make them suffer for refusing to be our slaves. Quote, Benjamin Netanyahu, 1990.
I'm going to guess Benjamin Netanyahu did not say that. In fact, I would guess, and I don't know anything about this, I'm just going to posit a prediction here, that this was actually some Islamic leader who said that.
No.
Am I right? Oh, okay.
Well, you're right that Benjamin Netanyahu never said that. As a matter of fact, that slop has been around since 2015, and it originated from some anti-Semitic website that just creates misinformation. And to make matters worse, everybody and their mother has debunked that for the last 11 years. When I started looking into it, I found article after article after article after article after article of people telling the world this is a fake quote. And yet here Ryan Mata is creating an entire video and posting it. Now, I will say this. I could not find that video on his X account, which tells me he probably deleted it. The problem is that that video is now floating around Instagram right now, has almost 2 million views on it. Hundreds and hundreds of comments of people saying, holy crap, we need to end Israel.
Listen, what do you expect from a crypto bro? We looked back at his social media when all the Candyland cult started coming out. You know, all that stuff started coming out. He only just recently started making political content. He was a crypto bro.
Yeah. What is this? Why are men being creepy AF to SK? Do better? What? Are we being creepy?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
Is it in the chat somewhere? Am I being creepy? I'm not being creepy. What's happening?
No, I think he's talking about the chat, but I haven't seen anything.
I think he's talking about
also,
us.
I was live on TikTok for an entire year, every single day. Nothing bothers me. Like, absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. All right, where do you guys want to go from here? I think I'm done beating up on these fake ass America First black pill people.
Well, I mean, listen, there's primaries happening and nobody wants to talk about them.
MAGA Force. No, it's not true. All right, go ahead. Yeah, let's do the primary stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, there's primaries happening and there's all kinds of games being played in these primaries, especially where there's open primaries, like in North Carolina. Aren't there two? There are two different cases in North Carolina. You got one woman who is fully covered in a hijab, who's clearly a Democrat, is actually a Democrat running unopposed in a Republican primary with no Republican contender to run against her in that primary. Is that right, SK? You sent that, right?
Yes, the video is in the Dropbox, and then there's a statement that was put out
There's
by...
a video in the Dropbox? Are you sure?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is it called?
Hold on.
Leftist backfire move. No. Patel celebrating Susan Rice, Tucker. I don't see it in the Dropbox. So yeah, and then there's that other lady who we've seen who's openly going around saying she's running in a Republican primary, saying she is actually a Democrat. She's a far left progressive Democrat, but she can't compete in the Democrat primary, so she's going to run in a Republican primary. Folks, people are not paying attention to what. So we're just going to remind you all of what's actually coming in the next 2 months when it comes to primaries. If we don't get our shit together, this is all going to be for naught. President Trump will be impeached if we do not get our shit together here. So where's the primary schedule? So here's something that I cooked up today, right? Just for everybody that's aware, if you live in Arkansas, Illinois, Mississippi, North Carolina, or Texas, you are either engaged in a primary and early voting for your primary, or it's starting very, very soon. Texas, we already know that beginning February 17th, you guys were early voting in Texas, and a lot of people are getting very nervous about Texas, especially the numbers that are coming in for early voting. And I'm going to kind of poo-poo that a little bit. But no one's talking about these primaries. You got Arkansas, March 3rd is when your primary begins, but you guys already started early voting. Illinois, North Carolina, March 17th, March 3rd, February 12th. I mean, literally everybody is already early voting. These are the primaries that all start prior to the end of April is what I asked for, right? If you don't have a plan to vote, you need to freaking get a plan to vote. And you have, listen, we've got early voting. We have to use it. I wouldn't recommend maybe the mail-in ballots, but if you got in-person early voting, go and do it. Yeah. Go do it, especially when you've got 2 and 3 weeks to get it done. So nothing else can happen. Well, and here, Dr. Mommy, just take a screenshot of it. Here, just take a screenshot of it.
There's other reasons for doing early voting. I mean, obviously, if they're going to allow you to do it, then take advantage of it. But think about this. What happens if some catastrophic event happens on election day and you can't make it to the polls? Automatically, your vote doesn't get cast. More importantly, these campaigns, particularly in the primaries, these campaigns run literally on shoestring budgets. Mm-hmm. They are trying to stretch every single dollar as far as they possibly can. And one of the most expensive aspects of their campaign is their get out the vote effort. So when you cast your vote in a primary, your name basically gets checked off of a list that these candidates are then monitoring to try to figure out who else do I need to spend money to go out and get. So if you vote early, then suddenly they don't have to keep calling you anymore. They don't have to keep sending you things anymore. They don't have to spend any money to get you to go vote, and they can target that money, those limited resources, on other areas within their district that they're trying to get the vote out.
That's right.
Help them.
And if you're voting for an incumbent, you better make sure that incumbent is like really, really, really good. And I don't know that I can really think of any off the top of my head. I say if they're in office and there's a challenger in the primary, vote for the other person.
And what if that other person is actually a Democrat running in an open?
Well,
in a
if it's
Republican
open
primary?
primaries, that's a completely different situation. I sent the video link in the group text. I don't know if you guys can pull up the link. And then I sent the statement from the North Carolina, or I put it in Dropbox. The statement I wrote, statement North Carolina Republicans.
Yeah, we'll go back to that. If you see Petey, if you can clip that video and actually get it in video format, that would be great.
I was I can do that. I was going to look up to see how New York City's doing under the direction of Mom Donnie and like another blizzard that hit, but we can get to that here in a few minutes.
So I did want to hit on.
You had to show like 3 forms of ID.
3 forms of ID to shovel snow, right?
What?
Yeah. If you wanted to make $19 an hour, you had to show 3 forms of ID.
Oh, but it goes up to like $24 an hour after like how many hours was it? 40?
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Anyway, so a lot of folks are really, really nervous for some reason about what's going on over there in Texas because, guys, Democrats will vote early. And if they have an opportunity, they will vote early by mail. Right?
And they will do it multiple times if they're allowed.
They will do it as many times as they possibly can.
And their dead grandma and their dog.
Yeah, as many times as they possibly can for as many people as they possibly can. So I've heard nothing but over the weekend about how poorly the Republicans are performing in early voting in Texas. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean the numbers maybe aren't there from early vote perspective, but there is more than almost twice as many Republicans registered in Texas as there are Democrats. And this is comparing 2022 votes to 2026 because they're similar sorts of elections. So, I mean, I don't see any major problem there. Republican voters want to vote on election day. We just do. But frankly, like to Patriot Dad's point, if you're in Texas, every single one of these 67% of other voters here, or 57% of other voters here that have not gone out and voted early, you're costing that GOP primary candidate money to go out and try to find your vote, to get your vote into the box. You're costing them money.
Also, I think it's very important. Trump won 2024 due to early voting, due to people like Scott Pressler and all of that stuff. The vote early was pushed heavily. I said it every single day on TikTok. Every single chance I got, I reminded everybody to vote early. I would look up when early voting started. I would tell everyone, look up when early voting starts in your area, because it is super important to make sure you vote. If you wait until the last minute, anything could come up. And make a plan to vote. Call your friends, call your neighbors, call your parents. Make sure everybody's going to vote. Give them a ride. Take them to vote.
That's right. All right, I got that video for you. Here you go. I don't know what this is, but SK
I'm a Republican. I know that I have been seeing a lot of people with hesitation about the party that I choose to represent, just because, you know, growing up, you pretty much do what your family does, what, you know, their beliefs are as far as your party. But like I said, I am matured in my own revelation of what the Republican Party represents, and it looks like me. And just the ideology, the ideology of the Democratic Party. I just have gotten away from some of those narratives, and I feel that the Republicans have a better viewpoint in which the direction that the United States and
you don't have
North
to
Carolina,
let it play all the
especially
way through,
Durham,
but this is someone running as a Republican. This is why Oklahoma, if you're listening, you better vote no on open primaries. I think it's 8:37. Hold on, I'll look because I have a graphic. Actually, I'm supposed to go to the Capitol tomorrow, but I'm not going.
I mean, that just hurts. That hurts my like intelligence when I hear somebody, when I see somebody sit like with a hijab across their face, trying to memorize lines about why they're suddenly becoming a Republican and not having the intellectual power to be able to do it, and sounding like a bumbling idiot to try to convince people that, oh, I'm a Republican now. I promise. I swear. I promise. I'm a Republican. Are you freaking kidding me?
But there's
We call
more
that
than
taquilla.
one. Yeah, there's more than one person in North Carolina running
Oh,
as
yeah.
a Republican. The Republican Party of one of the counties, or the state Republican Party, put out a statement saying that the 14th Congressional District in North Carolina put out a statement saying that they do not endorse this person as who is it, Barr, Mrs. Barr. It's not the one that we just had on the screen. It's a different one. They do not endorse them because they said that they are not a Republican. Another person, the candidate Catherine K. Lee Compton Barr, did change her vote. Why is there so many names?
Because
That
she's a
not like-
liberal and she doesn't. That's what. Yeah, because they don't want to give up their name.
Well, is that not like
that's the patriarchy. That's the
sign number
patriarchy.
one
SK.
that somebody's batshit crazy?
Yeah, that's the patriarchy. SK. Patriarchy would force her to change to give up her name.
Listen,
Don't you know that? You know that.
I
Yeah.
know
So this
that.
is
I
it.
gave
Hold
up
on.
my
I've
name.
hold on. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get this over here. All right.
It's in another folder somewhere. I think I know who you're talking about.
No,
was
I
one
put
of
it in. I put it in the new one.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
just
Okay.
I named it statement NC Republicans or something. But you don't have to put it up there. There's another one. But my whole point is, this is George Soros and Koch, when they got together with the New Pluralists. We've talked about this a million times. One of the things that they were pushing for is open primaries. This is how they're pushing pluralism. This is how they're telling you you're going to be better represented by open primaries or ranked choice voting. Every single organization pushing open primaries and ranked choice voting is anti-democracy, not democracy the way that they say democracy. They are anti-constitutional republic. They are anti-United States of America. They do not like this country. They want to completely change it, and they want to be able to push through Democrat, liberal, progressive, communist, socialist, Marxist, Leninist, you name it, anyone except like the values of the United States, like capitalism and, liberty and freedom.
Yeah, just insane. All right, can we we're going to wrap here in a minute, but can we get to what I think is probably the biggest loser on the planet? Do we have the biggest loser clip? Is there a buffer for that? Don't we have that? We should play that.
Oh, we do. I didn't bring it in.
Oh, you got to bring it in. You got to buffer this for me. You have to. You have to buffer this because you guys are going to you've probably seen it, but you're going to crap your pants when you see this next video. It's one of the funniest things I think I've seen. All right. So by now, you guys have all seen AOC over in Munich asked a very simple question and spends about 45 seconds stumbling over herself like an absolute bumbling moron, trying to figure out how to answer a question that she clearly has never thought about before. Now, you got to give the girl a little bit of grace, I suppose, because she's a congressperson who probably doesn't have a lot of experience in foreign policy issues. But this is a woman who believes that she is going to, she believes she could be the next president.
They should have tons of experience in foreign policy. They are voting on bills that fund everything.
No. That doesn't matter because they're voting on things that they're told to vote on. But actual foreign policy experience is not relevant to her because remember, she's trying to destroy this country, not other countries. So because she got dragged all over the internet, this was her response. I think she posted this at like 2 o'clock in the morning one night. God knows what she was doing at 2 o'clock in the morning as a member of Congress who probably should have been at work the next day. But here's her response. And I just want to hear SK and Nom's reaction to this.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of
Hold on. There we go.
Foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth. I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather The problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
Listen, first of all, her dog
Who
needs a
was
sleep
snoring
apnea
in the
machine. I think it's her dog. Because, I mean,
That
she
better
doesn't
be her
have
dog. It's not
a
her husband. My
boyfriend.
dogs sound like that, so I get it.
I mean, it could have very well been her partner also. Who knows? But I
Does
mean,
she have one?
I think she does. Yeah, I think she's
Yeah,
dating
she's
some white
she's
dude.
dating some white dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
they all date white dudes. All of them. Ilhan Omar, all of them.
They love white
They
guys.
hate white people, but they date and marry white men. They all do.
Okay, well, her dog needs a sleep apnea machine. Well, I can't say much. Mine do too. But also, the comments people were making about her clearly got under her skin because she would not have taken the time to make that video in the middle of the night if it didn't, especially going on camera, sounding like she's been out drinking and doing God knows what all night long. She sounds like she smoked 2 packs of cigarettes. Why does she sound like that?
Well, because she was out revolutioning, right? She was out, starting a revolution, and she was chanting the chants and screaming the screams and saying all the nonsensical, stupid shit that they always say. She's a clown. AOC is a clown. She is charismatic, but she is an absolute clown. Unless someone feeds her a talking point, unless she has practiced her Marxist tropes over and over and over again, she has no ability to think beyond the things that she read and her Karl Marx books or all the other nonsensical loser ideologies that they want to enforce on this country. She has no concept. She is exactly what happens, like Mamdani and the rest of them, when their ideas face the real world and they get smacked in the face with it. That's exactly what's happened to Mamdani. New York City is a very, very massively complex city, and he thinks that you can just Marxism your way out of it. You can't.
AOC, let me help you out here, sweetheart. If you have to make a video telling people that you understand foreign policy, it's a pretty good indication that you don't understand foreign policy. No, you can try to make this about Donald Trump if you want, but the fact remains, when you had an opportunity to answer a question about basic foreign policy, you spent 45 seconds trying to figure out how to get your brain to function properly. That is not a Donald Trump problem. That is a you problem. And again, if you have to make a video assuring people that you understand foreign policy, it's a pretty good indication that you don't. And therefore, you are not qualified to be the president of the United States if you can't answer a basic question about foreign policy. That was almost as bad as watching oatmeal brain auto pen Joe Biden in the debate with Donald Trump, where he ended his political career.
Listen, the fact that anyone thinks that that woman can be president of the United States of America is wild. I mean, that's actual delusion. Like, what type of, I mean, that's some serious self-confidence. I'll give her that. But that's delusional.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to know what the hell they were doing over there in the first place. Like,
Well,
why
Hillary
were a
Clinton's
bunch
there
of stupid Democrats over there at Munich Security Conference?
because
Why?
they fit in well with the socialists of Europe. That's why. That's why they were invited. They're all socialists. They're all communists. Was she on the toilet? Yeah, she could have been on the toilet.
Probably.
Probably. She could have
Hey,
been.
we can't forget about the old Newscomb, can we?
I mean, I guess.
Dude, that guy.
Yeah,
His
pull him up.
frozen mac and cheese and
We'll
frozen
make this-
I'm not
lasagna.
trying
Hold
to
on, hold
impress
on.
you.
Stop. No, we already did the Biggest Loser buffer, didn't we? So this is the Biggest Loser number 2. Go ahead.
You know, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you.
This is
You
offensive.
know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And, you know,
Yeah, and you're
and I'm
state
not trying to
up.
offend anyone, you know, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Can we just pause for a second? And did you guys see who was that guy that was on stage with him? Isn't he a mayor of some city?
I think so. Yeah. Was he in Atlanta?
Maybe.
I think he was in. I think he
Did
was in
you see
Atlanta.
the
I think he was in
look
Canada,
on his-
Georgia.
Did you see the look on his face and like the nervous laugh that he did there on stage, where
I'm
he's
like
sitting there
you.
when he's sitting there listening to Gavin Newsom and he's going in the back of his mind, holy crap, this is one of the most racist things I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And because he didn't know how to handle it, he just laughed. Instead of saying, hey, Gavin, you realize that Black Americans are not all 960 SAT scores, right? You know that. Or maybe you don't know that. I don't know. Is that the problem? Is that you don't realize that?
He doesn't.
Is that
Well, he listened to Obama or Biden say essentially the same thing, that not all black kids or not all white kids are smarter than black, or whatever that bullshit that Biden said.
And didn't Kathy Hochul say that, you know, black kids in Brooklyn don't even know what a computer is?
Yes, Kathy Hochul did say that, but this is giving me Hillary Clinton. You are no ways tired. You know, they don't know how to talk to these people because they think that they have to code switch and they have to appeal to the skin color instead of just talking to freaking voters about shit that matters. You know what? If you walk into a room full of black people and the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, I also carry hot sauce in my purse too, because you think it's going to endear them to you or endear you to them, you're a clown. You're a moron. You're not a serious person. He is not a serious person. Vote for me because I'm as dumb as you are. What?
Yeah. And let's just make it clear here that he's been saying that he has dyslexia. I don't know if he does or not. And I really don't care. Lots of people have lots of things. But to then go on and talk about getting a 960 on your SAT, the guy's actually retarded. I mean, he literally could have had any sort of adjustments made. He could have, every section of his SAT, he could have had an entire day. They make every single accommodation. So if he got a 960 on his SAT while having dyslexia, I mean, he's dumb. It's not that he can't read. It's not that he's dyslexic. He's dumb.
Well, I mean, I think we understand now why he says that he can't figure out how to get a new birth certificate, because apparently he's functionally retarded.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he say he lost it when he was like 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is he the governor of California again? Do they not check those things?
No. What happened?
How did he get a driver's license if he lost his birth certificate when he was 7 years old?
Uh-oh. You
can't get a driver's license.
Have a birth certificate to get a real ID?
Yeah. Basically, what happened is he lied about that.
Listen, PatriotDad and I are older. I'm fairly certain we're older than Gavin Newsom. I mean, we're 48, verging on 49. And we had to have an ID when we got our driver's licenses, or a birth certificate when we got our driver's license in Ohio at 16. That was a long time ago.
And
right?
passport.
That was like 32 years ago, and we still had to produce a birth certificate.
Yep. And he just came back from overseas, so he has a passport. How did he get overseas?
Okay. How did he get a U.S. passport? Yeah, I mean,
SK, this is for you. Can you give out, because we're going to wrap here, can we give out the Discord information?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Clipmaster Jake can get you a link, or you can just go to your Google browser or whatever you use and put skdd.lol in there, and it should take you there.
skdd.lol. That should take you there. Is there any steps they have to go through?
I think I might have changed it to where it automatically verifies you, but if not, you go to the rules and check the green check mark.
Rules green check mark, if that's still a thing. You're welcome. All right, folks. I hope you got something.
I got one more. I got one more video just for folks. Just one more video just for everybody to get a good laugh about how dumb Democrats are. Just
far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States. I lived in LA for 6 years, and I have not faced rent as bad as here. When my partner, our cat, and our dog fled the United States, we headed north with the goal of being close to where our families are located, which is on the West Coast. So we are now in British Columbia. More specifically, we are in the Sea to Sky Highway in the Greater Vancouver area. We are attempting to find housing in the western side of this region. My partner and I are here on a visitor visa, which is a 6 months possible stay for Americans. But while you're here on a visitor visa, you can't work. So we are currently surviving off of what savings we could get together before we fled.
Okay, y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. So the point here is you got insane, dumbass Democrat who flees America to Canada or Snow Mexico or East Alaska, whatever you want to call it.
It's
Snow Mexico
East Alaska, new Canadian communists.
Fine. I like Snow Mexico too. I thought that was funny. And they're shocked to find out that when you go to Canada, there are actual immigration laws up there too. Oh, and by the way, their economy is shit. Their affordability is shit. You don't have it bad here in this country. In fact, there's not a single country you can go to that is going to be in better shape than this one anywhere on the planet. Not one. But there hasn't been for what, 70 years, and there still won't be one for the next 100 years because President Trump is making sure they won't.
But they think he's a fascist. So they're fleeing the country and realizing very quickly when they get there that, holy crap, our pretend fascist is a hell of a lot better than everywhere else.
Yep.
Before we go, I have a couple things I want to say. First of all, I'm not saying if you're dyslexic that you're retarded. I'm saying Gavin Newsom is, because he literally could have taken his SAT verbally if he has an issue with reading. There are lots of brilliant people with dyslexia. I'm not actually making fun of people with a disability, just to be clear. I'm making fun of Gavin Newsom because if he got a 960 and he's the governor of California, doesn't have his birth certificate and hasn't since he was 7. Bernie Sanders apparently doesn't know how to get his birth certificate either, which is crazy. I mean, these people are all just actually dumb.
Well, these are the same people who are running around telling you that in order for you to be able to vote, then you first have to change your last name on your birth certificate, which is not possible, has never been possible, and will never be possible. Because your birth certificate is a record of your birth, not of your current name, you functional retards. And by the way,
non-functioning retards.
Actually. Well, most of them are non-functioning retards. And by the way, SK was not making fun of people with dyslexia. She was making fun of the retarded Gavin Newsom, the beta boy retard.
Yes. When I use the word retard, I'm not actually talking about people with like legitimate disabilities, by the way.
No, nobody is. Nobody
never in a million years. I'm just calling him dumb. He's actually just dumb.
We have not called people with mental disabilities that word for decades, but we have called a lot of dumb people retards. Because
retard doesn't at all describe somebody with a
disability, because there are people with
it just describes stupid people.
There are people with actual disabilities that would be 1,000 times better than Gavin Newsom at being governor, and I would vote for them.
That's right. Never mind. I was going to say something, but I'm sure we'll get flagged for election interference if I tell people to go try to change their birth certificate.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. This was fun to put together. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Like Nom and SK, we're hitting home. Go vote early. If your primaries are open, get it done. Don't forget. It's the most important thing that you can do. Otherwise, you're going to be handing this country over to people who literally want to string you up. And like we saw a few weeks ago, cut you from groin to chin. That's what they're threatening to do to all of us if they don't get their way.
We didn't talk about Susan Rice.
Should we show Susan Rice real quick? I mean,
that's a long conversation. We'll save it for Wednesday. Let's save it for Wednesday. That's a long conversation because I think she's very scared, and I think she's got reason to be very scared.
I think so too. We'll tease that. We'll come back on Wednesday, and we'll have a full analysis on Susan Rice and why she might be terrified of what's getting ready to happen down in the southern Florida and the grand juries that's going on down there, and also the investigations that are opening in the Epstein files, considering Jeffrey Epstein, was trying to have some conversations with Susan Rice, which we've seen. It's pretty clear. All right, folks, this was good. We will see you Wednesday, same time, same place. Go like all the things, subscribe everywhere, do all the stuff, and we will see you.
State of the Union speech tomorrow. Don't miss it. We're going to have a lot to talk about on Wednesday, I'm sure.
That's right. Yep. We'll probably spend
by the way, real quick before you push the button, I'm sure all of you guys saw all the Democrats saying that they're not going to be attending the State of the Union. I
Good.
say good because now we don't have to hear them booing a 10-year-old with terminal brain cancer this year. Thank
like they did
God.
last time. That's right. All right, folks. See you later. Have a good one. Maybe. Is it going to play?
Yeah. Hold on a second. We got a
Well,
bunch
good
of
night,
Rewind it.
guys. Make sure you hit
We've
the
got
thumbs
hold
up.
on. We've got too much stuff. What's going on in there?
Get that stuff out of here.
I don't know what's happening.
We can't play the buffer. Maybe you got to rewind it.
No.
Make
Why
sure
won't
you
our
hit the
buffer
like
play?
button. Make sure
Pull
you
that- pull that
subscribe.
stuff
Make sure
out
you
of
leave
there.
a comment if you're watching the replay.
Nothing is up there, dude. Nothing is up there.
Did someone break our buffer?
I'm not trying.
All right, remove that. We're gonna have to do a.
All right.
It wasn't
Hold
me. I
out.
didn't do it.
All right, folks. We'll see you
What?
later. See you on Wednesday.
What's going on with our buffer?